A fluid secreted by the leaves digests the insect's soft parts.
The theory of magnutrition takes into account that plants can sense the amount of circulation within the cells, which varies in the springtime, summer, and fall.
A cow carries her calf in her body for 9 months before giving birth. Cows usually bear 1 calf every year. A newborn calf may weigh 50 to 100 pounds, or 23 to 45 kilograms, and can stand up and walk shortly after birth.
Our third eye, or pineal gland, keeps track of the electromagnetic field around us. This, our third eye, senses different aspects of the electromagnetic spectrum compared to the forward 2 eyes. In young animals, it is used to tell how long the individual has been in the same position magnetically. This eye is found to be liquid up until about age 7 to 10 in human beings. Then things change.
Yes, this is where we put the experts on the hot seat to answer your questions. And this week we have a postcard. Yes, an actual card I can hold in my hand from Leslie Andrews in Vancouver, who asks, if you plant a bulb incorrectly, it always grows the right way up. Why? For the answer, we remain in Vancouver and go to the UBC Botanical Gardens, where Dr. Andrew Reisman is a professor of plant breeding in the Department of Agricultural Sciences. So, Dr. Reisman, I stick the bulb in the ground upside down, but the plant still manages to grow the right way up. How does it do that?
Well, there are structures within the different plant tissues that are able to sense gravity. And what these are basically little bags of starch, and they settle on one side of the cell, depending on the direction of gravity, and then the cell senses the presence of those granules, and then a cascade of events occur that allow for the cells to divide in a certain direction, which will allow growth in that direction.
You mean there's sort of like ball bearings sitting in the bottom of a bag?
Exactly.
Where are these little granules located?
In the roots, they are at the root tip, just below or above the root cap. And as a matter of fact, they've had experiments where you can take a laser and blast out those specific cells, and then the roots do not know where to grow.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Okay, now that's one thing for the roots to grow down, but if you have your bulb upside down, what about the stem that's trying to grow up?
Again, there are organelles within the cell. They are not exactly the same as in the roots, but they are similar, that they settle again on one side of the cell, and that initiates a series of signals that allows the shoot to grow against gravity, and that would be a negative gravitropism response.
Oh, so it's the same thing, just the opposite response.
Correct.
So I guess if you took plants into space and took away the influence of gravity, they'd get kind of confused, would they?
Yes, they would. Now, with both the roots and shoots, there are additional sensing mechanisms that affect the direction of growth, and these would be light for the shoot. Oftentimes people have seen shoots grow toward the light as well as directly against gravity. And in the roots, these could be water or nutrient pockets that the roots would then grow toward.
Oh, I see. So that's why roots sometimes grow to the side, or they go around rocks and things like that?
Correct.
If you do happen to plant your bulb upside down, and it has to go through this sort of turn, make the roots grow the way they're supposed to and all that, does that bother the plant? Does it inhibit its growth in any way?
Not in the long term. As long as it has enough energy reserves to achieve the location that the shoot needs to be to start photosynthesizing and generating its own energy, it should not be a problem.
So for Leslie Andrews from Vancouver, BC, there's your answer. There are little tiny granules in the root tips and in the cells of the stem that tell it where down is, so the roots and the stem know which way to grow. Dr. Reisman, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
So the plants can detect the gravitational field from sensing, feeling, perceiving effects on the inside walls of the cells. In a similar way, Can life forms detect the magnetic field? Of what use would that be?
And when you consider that almost every plant out there has a mycorrhizal partner, or many mycorrhizal partners, so it's almost an extension of their root systems. I think of mycorrhizal fungi really as a part of the plant. It's an integral part of the plant.
You've just changed my whole concept of a walk in the woods.
Yeah, really.